Hey, Elevation, our reading for today comes from 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 23, and I'm going to go ahead and go to verse 34. It's the Apostle Paul laying out the scriptural guidelines for communion, and the last half of it has a pretty interesting section that it's important for us to understand as we prepare our hearts for communion. Here's what Paul says in this passage. Therefore, whoever eats the bread or drinks the cup of the Lord in an unworthy manner will be guilty of sinning against the body and blood of the Lord. A man ought to examine himself before he eats the bread and drinks the cup. The context of this passage was that there were really divisions within the church in Corinth. There were poor people and rich people, and many went to the Lord's Supper. It was a whole dinner celebration for them, as more them receiving a meal instead of reflecting on the death of Christ. As we take communion, this is a great reminder for us to really examine our hearts and look at this whole process of communion as remembering the sacrifice that the Lord made for you and for me. I want to encourage you tonight, 6:30, if you go to our live Facebook page, there'll be a live stream, worship and prayer night, and you can also access that on the app. We'll look for you then, 6:30.